Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. Empowered aging at home. Lots going into that phrase there. Being empowered and aging at home, or aging in place, as the term is usually known as. Well, I wanted to bring in a guest to talk about how you can be empowered to age at home the way you want to age at home. So with me today is Darlene Pidgeon, and she is the owner of Castle Maven. How are you doing today, Darlene?
Fine, thank you, Bryan.
I'm glad you came in today to talk about this subject. And we talk about aging in place and that term, that colloquialism, but there's a lot that goes into that, and I like your spin on it. So let's first talk about you a little bit and your background.
Well, okay, well, first I'd like to thank you for having me here.
My pleasure.
The aging in place space is something that's really dear to me because I sort of grew up in that environment, understanding what that is. But it's interesting because the aging in place term is more known in the industry, in the healthcare industry, but it's not readily known out in the public. So Castle Maven is using the term aging at home and aging in place to connect the two. So we're basically combining them just so that there's some familiarity with it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because people don't know the terms that you and I necessarily know.
Right.
We don't want people getting lost in the translation.
Right. And it'll actually help them move towards the services that they need. That's more important. So once they understand that aging in place and aging at home are essentially the same things, then they can easily find the products and service companies that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get into this space?
Well, so I have a background in nursing. I'm also a certified aging in place specialist, but I also have a background in nursing, and my experience is in orthopedics, pulmonary, and neurology. And those are the very areas of healthcare concerns that the aging in place population actually has, along with those people that are recovering at home from surgery. So we also do a recovery at home component as part of that because it's sort of the same need.
Got it, okay.
And then I also have a background in business and finance, and I figured I should use those tools to figure out how to bridge the gap between the institutional care and the high-touch care coordination. And so there can be high costs associated with both of those. And so I wanted to find sort of a middle lane. So then I developed this two-pronged approach to solving this problem, where it empowers the clients and it also helps them to lower the cost to age at home. So the first prong is that it's a self-guided approach, and that is our comprehensive website where you can go in and find all the products and services that you need and then transact directly with those companies. And we have an aging in place checklist there for their convenience, and also a home modification checklist. And there's no fee to use or access, and it's also available on any PC and any mobile device.
Got it,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we have our guided approach, which is the favorite component of the two, because I get to interact more with the clients. But this is the guided approach where we actually go on site. It's a fee-based on-site consultation, and they work with an aging in place specialist. And we go in and do a comprehensive evaluation of not only the home, but also the aging in place client, as well as the caregivers. Because the caregivers in a lot of cases, without them, aging in place does not exist. And when a client is aging at home, safety is paramount, because every fall actually reduces the quality of life, and it impairs it significantly.
Right.
So we really want to try to reduce that risk. And so we have that. And then we also come up with a full report which we give to the clients of our findings and then our recommendations. And then we can also pull together all of our network that we coordinate our services with, and we can liaise with them to put together a client-centric solution for what they need. And not all of the tasks need to be done all at once. So if somebody's aging at home and they have a medical concern, they don't have to do all these modifications all at once. They can be done in stages. So like for instance, if you need just some basic modifications, for $1,000 you can easily add task lighting to whatever work area that needs it. You can add grab bars, you can add even just the basic ramps. And then you can gradually, as time goes on, move to the next phase to make those modifications necessary.
Got it. So it's a stepped approach.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a step back, speaking of steps, take a step back real quick. So in my experience, people enter this space in one of two ways, reactively or proactively. Usually it's reactively. Something happens, someone falls, and now they have to sort of play catch up and figure out what they have to do. In other cases, they're more proactive. Maybe they're realizing they can't see as well, or they're realizing they can't get up from a chair as easily or what have you, and so they're going to take the more proactive approach. But what I like about your two-prong approach to this is it works for anyone. Wherever they come into the space, they can come in and decide they can do things on their own if they're more independent. But if they really need that more hands-on approach, they can have that professional. And I'm assuming they can maybe start with one and move to the other?
Yes, they can actually use both.
Okay.
So there are times when, depending on the stage that they're in, if they want to go ahead and do things initially on their own, because there are some people that already have that experience of aging in place, they just need a platform to where to go, so they don't have to have multiple browsers open. And so that's what Castle Maven offers, is that one-stop shop, if you will. And again, they transact with the businesses that are on there, all the companies. And then we go in, and then if they want the more guided approach, we really go through every detailed step and say, here's what we recommend. Do they have to go with all the recommendations all at once? No, they don't. It's whatever they feel comfortable with, and we are about empowering the clients and helping them to reduce the cost. And so even our motto for our company, Castle Maven, is your home is your castle, live there, age there. So you really get to decide how you want to do this. And the part of the guided approach that I really like is that the clients, we get the feedback from them, because what we're trying to do is to alleviate a lot of their stress, because they already have enough to worry about.
Yeah.
So if we can go in and be a part of this dynamic where we're part of the recovery or the progression of care for their loved ones, that's what keeps us, motivated, because it's really about giving back to the communities that we live in.
Right, for sure, and giving them the power in their care.
Right.
How'd you come up with the name Castle Maven, by the way?
Well, so I figured your home is your castle. I knew that because it was actually a term from an English jurist. His last name is Cook, but it's spelled Coke. And so he came up with that castle it was actually a castle doctrine, over in England, and we adopted it here. So you get to live in your castle. Your home is your castle. Live there, age there. So that's kind of our motto.
And you're the Maven.
I'm the Maven.
Exactly, right. Well, obviously you have a lot of experience with this, and I'm just curious, as people have entered into your business models and gone on your website and kind of gone both ways, which do you see people gravitating towards? Which model?
That's a very good question. Oftentimes it's a little bit of both initially, because what I've noticed is that with our clients, a lot of them said, we made a commitment to our spouse that we're going to take care of them. And oftentimes they think that by getting somebody else, a third party, to come in and administer care is removing that responsibility from them, and then therefore they are not fulfilling their commitment, when that's actually not correct. If you enlist the help of other people, you are still involved in the care with that loved one. So that's the message that we try to get out there and explain to the clients' families, that we're here to help support you. We're not taking anything away from you. You are the one that's still in control. You get to say, here's what we need, here's how we're going to do it, and that way you still have that role that you committed to. And they're very appreciative of that, because that's something that oftentimes when you're stuck in a situation, you don't really think about that, that you still are in control of the care.
Right. Well, and unfortunately, as I said, a lot of times people come into this space in a crisis situation, and you don't know what you don't know. That's one of the reasons why I do the show, is to empower people with resources, because they don't know where to go. They don't know what home care companies or hospice, or if I want to age in place, how am I going to do that successfully? They can go online and hope for the best, or they can rely on experts like you.
Well, so that's why we bill ourselves as an aging at home solutions company, because we really can provide the solutions for just about every aging in place concern. And that's important when you're serving the public. You want to make sure that within your scope of experience and what's out there, that you can provide everything to the clients so that they can be empowered to make their own decisions. That's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Darlene, thank you very much for coming and talking about Castle Maven and your unique approach. For those of you who are watching this video, Darlene's information is on screen, so you have her phone number and her website. If you are listening to this on Spotify or whatever your favorite podcast channel is, her information is going to be in the caption. You can reach out to her as well for more information. Darlene, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you so much, Brian. It
My
was
pleasure.
a pleasure.